Hey, welcome back to Music and Ministry. So you want to get started making music in 2025, but you have no idea what you need to do it or how to get started. That's what this video is for. I'm going to give you 5 things that I think every person needs, whether you're a musician, singer, want to be a producer, make beats, work with samples. These are the 5 things that everyone needs to get started making music. I'm not going to give you the cheapest option of all of these in my recommendation, but I'm also not going to break the bank because believe me, you could spend thousands of dollars very easily making music. And so the first thing you're going to need is a computer. Some people love their Macs, some people love their PCs. The option that I'm going to show you for your digital audio workstation, or DAW, is something that can run on either or. So I didn't want to just show Mac users something that they could use that wouldn't apply to PC and vice versa. So with that said, let me share my screen. I'm going to show you my recommendation for a DAW for a beginner today, if I was starting from scratch, would be Universal Audio's Luna. Now, Universal Audio, if you're not familiar, is a phenomenal company. They've been around a long time, world renowned for their plugins, hardware, audio interfaces. They just make tremendous stuff. They're now doing effects pedals, and they introduced this recording system, or DAW, a couple years ago, and it's phenomenal. The best part about it is, wait for it, it's free. That's right, it's free. And here's what I'm going to show you. If you go to uaudio.com and search for Luna, you can download it here and just pick, again, free to all Mac and Windows users, no hardware required. And check this out. This is the full unlimited version of Luna. So a lot of companies, because there's other great DAWs out there. There's Pro Tools, there's Live from Ableton, there's Logic from Apple, there's Studio One, there's FL Studio. I mean, there's just a ton of great DAWs that you can choose from nowadays. But a lot of them, on their lesser expensive or free options, don't give you the full version. Luna does. So that's a huge thing. Don't overlook that. Also, right now during the holidays, they are running a deal for their Pro Bundle. So for $99, you get all of these amazing plugins to help you get started as well. And just for the record, just so you know, I'm talking a lot about Universal Audio on this video. I'm not sponsored by them. They don't know I'm making this. I wasn't asked to make this. I am just genuinely a lover of their products. I have their microphone. I have their audio interface. I love Luna. I use their plugins all the time. And so I'm just giving you my personal recommendation on stuff that I actually use myself. So there we go. You got your computer. And I'm not going to get into the specs. You can look up, each DAW has its own different minimum requirements. You'll have to dive into that. This video would be way too long if I did that. But mostly, if you've got a somewhat, not 20-year-old computer, you're probably going to be okay to get started with whatever you have. So download that. And then the next thing you'll need, now that you have your computer, your DAW, is you're going to need an audio interface. So the reason you need that is because if you want to record through a microphone, or you want to plug in a guitar or any other instrument line cable, you're going to need something to connect that to get sound into your recording software. And so Universal Audio makes this Volt line. This is the Volt 276. They do make a Volt 2, which is slightly less expensive. However, what I want to show you is this bundle that they have, because it takes out 3 of the things that you'll need right off the bat. So number 1, you get your audio interface with 2 inputs, which that's important if you're a singer-songwriter. You want to record your vocal and like an acoustic guitar or piano simultaneously. You're going to need 2 inputs. So this has you covered on that. It's got some other great features into it. I'm not going to go deep dive on that, but this is a solid audio interface. Another thing I'll show you about this one, if I click on description down here, and this doesn't apply to everyone, but this is a great option to have. It's iPad and iPhone ready. So this will plug in USB-C to your iPad or iPhone if you want to record music on those devices. So not all audio interfaces have that ability, but this one definitely does. So getting back up here, this bundle also includes a condenser microphone and headphones. Microphone would be great for vocals, be great for any acoustic instrument, any other sounds, acoustic sounds that you want to record. You're going to need a microphone. So that's great that it already comes with it. And then the headphones, obviously, as you're recording, you're going to want to be able to hear what you're recording in real time as you're doing it. And the reason you want to use headphones for that is because if you're just using external speakers, then the sound that's coming from the speakers is also going to then bleed it back into your microphone, and it's not going to give you a great recording. So headphones are a must. So this right here, 329, takes care of that. Let me give you one other option. Focusrite makes their Scarlett line of audio interfaces. These are inexpensive, but they're great quality as well. People all over use these, swear by them. They're now on generation 4. This one, again, comes with, it has 2 inputs. The XLR inputs are on the back side. It also has the instrument line in so that you can plug in, guitar, acoustic guitar, whatever. And then it does come with their condenser microphone and headphones, and even they throw in the XLR cable so you can actually physically connect your microphone to the back of the device. With the Volt, you'd have to buy that separately somewhere. But again, $299, and that covers 3 of the main things that you're going to need. So moving on from there, you've now got your computer, you've picked your Luna, your DAW, you've got your audio interface, your microphone, your headphones. So the next thing you'll need, if you do want to hear the sound externally, is studio monitors or monitor speakers. I use Atom Audios. I have some A5Xs here in my setup, and I absolutely love them. Atom Audios, not super old as a company. It's fairly new, but they're just taking the place by storm. I mean, tons of people are switching over and using their stuff because it just sounds great. So it's not crazy expensive, but it's also not cheap. It's going to give you great sound. And these D3Vs actually came out this year, and they're just getting tremendous reviews. A lot of people are loving them. The one thing I like about these, they are smaller. They're a 3-inch, but that's good if you're in a space where, maybe you got a family, or maybe you're in an apartment and you can't just blast your music super loud. You don't need giant speakers to hear quality, but you still hear feedback. So these are a great option. They also would travel well if you want to pack them up if you're on the road. So I would highly suggest those. Anything from Atom Audio is great. And then the other option I would say is these IK Multimedia iLouds. IK Multimedia kind of took people by surprise when they put out their monitor speakers a couple years back. These smaller ones, these iLouds, because they sound incredible. They're not crazy expensive, $350 for this pair. Again, 3-inch speaker, but they just sound great, and they give you a true kind of flat response. I mean, you can adjust the EQ if you want, but when you're recording, you don't want to hear back through speakers that already have a built-in EQ that kind of accentuates, too much bass or too much high end or whatever. You want what's called a flat response as much as you can, because you want to hear back the raw, true sound that you're capturing. You'll understand that more as you get going. But these do a great job at not embellishing things that you don't want embellished. They just give you quality, clear, flat. This is what you put into it. This is what you're going to hear back. And those also will travel well. I think those come in white if you don't want the black. But that would be my suggestion for monitor speakers on a budget. And again, you just type in any of these things: audio interface, condenser microphones. You can spend thousands of dollars, and if you have it, great. Have fun and do that. But for those of you that are just getting started and you're trying to keep your budget under 500, 1,000, something like that, these would be a good option. And then lastly, I think everyone who wants to get into this should have a MIDI controller. These come in all different sizes, all different shapes, all different levels of functionality. The one I like that would be great, you could sit it on top of your desk. Like I have a Complete Control M32. It's a 32 key mini key keyboard, and it's great. I mean, I can bang out the sounds that I need, and it's not too big. It's easy to carry around if I do have to travel and want to take it with me. And so Novation, which is a great company that makes MIDI controllers, they put out this year this mini 37, and let me see, new arrival. This is great. I may actually end up upgrading to this at some point. One of the things I love about it is obviously you have 37 mini keys, so you can get 3 full octaves there as you're playing, and then you also have these pads that you can use if you want a little bit different feel when you're programming drums and banging that out. Or if you want, they have these encoders where you can adjust parameters, all kinds of functionality within this. And I think the price was around 150. Is that right? What I saw? Yeah, $149. You can get, other options that are $79, $89, $100. But this one would go a long way. You even have transport controls on board, which means you can stop, play, or record. You can trigger all of those things right from the MIDI controller. It's just a great one to get. So those are the 5 things I really think you need to get started. You can spend whatever you want, but if I was spending my money right now and I had to get started, these are what I would use. And I promise you, this will take you a long way. If you started in January with this setup, with some of those options that I just gave you, you're going to be set up for a couple of years for sure. And you're going to be very happy with what you get. So what I want to do next is I want to take you into Luna. So I've got a session that I already opened up for the sake of time. And what I've done, and I'm not going to explain the whole layout of all of this. We could do another video if you want me to do a deep dive on, just the layout and look of Luna and getting started. I'd be happy to do that. But for the sake of time and just demonstrating, I want you to hear some of the sounds that come with Luna with that free version. So if you downloaded it on your computer right now after you watch this video and you opened up a session and you put out these tracks, you literally can get to the same stuff that I'm going to show you right now, with the exception of this Moog, which I'll just take that out. That's fun, and Universal Audio makes a great recreation of that mini Moog, but for our sake, let's just stick to what comes in the box, if you will. So for drums, I chose their Shape. This is a multi-instrument virtual instrument, and it has all kinds of stuff. So you'll see it's got drums, and not just 1 or 2. I mean, it's got a ton of different drum sounds. You've got percussion, bass, organs, even electric and acoustic guitar samples in here that you can use, strings, horns, effects, sequencer. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. So I've selected this OWD, I believe it is, or maybe, yeah, OWD Kit 1. And let's just record and enable this track. You can hear it sounds like this. I mean, just classic drum sound. You're out ready to go. So that's right there in Shape. Piano, again, pulled in another instance of Shape. And this comes with Revel Lite, which is a lighter version of their full sampled Revel piano sound, which is a great piano. And that sounds like this. Oh, let me get on here. Sorry, I still got my drums on. Love it. Simple, great sounding piano to get you started. And here's the cool thing about this too. If you notice down here, there's a delay on effects 1 and there's a reverb on effects 2. And so if I'm over here in this first slot and I just pull up the effects 1 level, now you'll hear a delay. Which is fun. I mean, if you want to totally change up what you're doing with the piano, obviously you don't have to have it that pronounced or that loud. You can do all kinds of stuff with it, or you can just pull up the reverb, which is in effects 2. Right now it's a hall. I mean, it's great. Put them together. Let's see. Let's go to a quarter note, or let's do this ping pong. That's always kind of fun. So our effects 1 is a ping pong, and then we'll go to, let's do like a dreamy verb. Let's see what this is, and put these 2 together. We'll put them about 30% and not overdo it too much. So let's see what that sounds like. You hear that ping pong a little bit? It's great. So I mean, there's already things you can do beyond just the actual sound. You've got attack, decay, release, cutoff. You can even blend your effects 1 and effects 2. So there's just a ton you can do. So that's our piano. Let's pull those effects off there and not have it go crazy. We'll keep it clean. Then we'll go to the bass, which I pulled. I think I'm on a dub bass I found. This is just a low beefy bass. Sounds like this. If I bring it up an octave. Kind of fun. And there's other bass sounds. So if you want something a little more, here's an upright acoustic bass sound. I mean, it's got it all. I'll go back to this. All right, let's see what this driven sounds like. That's kind of fun. So I'm gonna leave it on this dub bass for now. And then synth. If we go to open up our shape instance, I found this FM Poly. So all I did was click here, went down to Poly Synths, found this one. I like the sound of it. Oh, that's not the Poly. Sorry, that's still the bass. Forgot to record enable. Here we go. This is the synth. Kind of fun. This one, the M-Tron Vibes. This is kind of like a Mellotron. Kind of a cool sound. Here's the PWM Poly. So, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Here's a sawtooth. And again, you can apply the different effects. You can also layer in here. So, like, let me just show you with this. We'll put a pad underneath this. Let's see what this blue pad is. So you hear that? So now you have this pad doing this whole other thing and moving underneath your chords. Here's a Gotham analog. And I could adjust, you know, the cutoff, the filter. Let's see what that does if I do this. So now it's not as harsh up front. Take a lot of those highs. Anyway, there's just a lot you can do. So let me just show, let's just put a fun little loop together and just see what we can make. I mean, again, we're just spitballing here, and I'm just giving you a feel for some of these sounds. So what are we at? 135 BPMs. Let's do like, you know, let's do a 100. Nah, that's too slow. Let's do like a, we'll just stick with 120. All right, so there's our tempo, and let's just record something. Nah, I don't like that. Hit the wrong. So I'm gonna undo that. Let's try it again. Yeah, that'll work. I'm gonna drop off this. I don't need my vocal. And then we can also quantize this. So if we hit E, it'll open it up. And again, I don't expect you to follow this too closely, but there's a little cue right here on this clip, and I can set my parameter up, set my grid up, and you can see as I'm moving it, it's quantizing it based on how I want it. So let's see how this sounds. So I did it. That's every quarter quantizing to the grid. Here's eighths. I think that works a little better for our purpose, and I'll pull the strength back a little bit, because one thing with quantizing you want to be careful of is you don't want everything to sound robotic. You know, we're not perfect when we play. We're not perfect in our performances ever, and so you want to leave some of that nuance of it being and feeling human. So I usually pull the strength back 90, 95, just depending on where it's at. All right, so we got that. Let me just get back out of here, and I'm gonna loop this because I just got that 4 bars. We'll make it 8 bars. So now we go to the beginning. All right, now let's jump down to piano, and we'll just play a little riff, something on here. Let's try this. Oh, I gotta change that. Our piano's still down an octave. Let's try that again. All right. I don't know if I love the end of that, so maybe I'll just do this. Let me just erase that first part. We'll quantize this. And we'll do this one a little bit. Let's go up to 95. We'll leave a little room for error. And hear what that sounds like. Cool. And then again, if I'll just add another 4 bars for that. Now let's do our bass. We'll record enable it, and then we'll just fire away. Nope. Let's see. Let's get back to it. Let's go down. That's a little too gritty. Let's try and find that dub bass isn't gonna work. Let's see. We need something that's a little bit more standard. Glide bass, final boss. Let's see. Final boss. That's not bad. Let's go with that. All right. All right. We'll just play around with this and see what we get. Oh, I remember what I did. Let's try it again. All right, that should be good. Let's take this back. Again, we'll quantize this. Make sure it's tracking with everything else. Again, we can do 16s, we can do 8s. Let's see how this sounds. All right. Not my best bass performance ever. By the way, I don't need these. I don't know why it's recording those because I gotta leave it record enabled for you to be able to hear me the entire time. That's why it's adding vocal tracks every time. And then lastly, let's just go to synth. Let's see, what do we pull in here for this? Again, this was a shape. What do we get? Yeah, the sawtooth with the analog. I'm gonna go ahead and drop off this if I can figure out how to get rid of it. Oh, none. There you go. Because you don't always want multi-layers. I don't want it to get in the way of our synth, but I am going to add, let's see. Yeah, I like that little bit of reverb that we added, that little bit of delay. So let's add that. And then I think our loop will be pretty much done. All right, so we got a little bit of a lead line thrown in there with some of the chords. Again, we'll quantize this. That same, eighth note quantization, however you say it. All right, so let's see what this sounds like all together. Let me get rid of this. There you go. So that's a quick look at Luna, specifically Shape, which is the multi-instrument virtual instrument that comes along with the free version of it. So again, if you want to get started, there's so much more even in Luna than obviously what I could show you here in just a little bit. But this has phenomenal sounds. It's got the variety of sounds. I mean, you're going to spend hours going through everything that it offers, and you still won't have touched all of it. So this would be my suggestion. Again, if I was getting started, and believe me, I've used Pro Tools, I've used Ableton, I've used Logic. there's so many out there that are great tools. I think as you get into it and you try some different ones, you may find that you like one of the others better. Whether it's a workflow thing, whether it's a feel thing, whether it's the sounds that come with it. Um, everybody has their own uh, preferences, obviously. But if you're getting started today and you want to get started for free, if you're not a singer and you're not even planning on recording external instruments, um, honestly, if you already have a computer, you can get Luna today for free. Um, have the sounds that I literally just demonstrated for you. And for a MIDI controller, you could even pick up a used one for under $100. And for less than $100, you're off and running and could start making music. So it doesn't cost a whole lot to get started. It just takes a little bit of knowing what you need and getting into it. I would tell you reverb.com is also a great place if you want to find used but great quality instruments and different things. You can search for microphones there, audio interfaces, instruments, all kinds of stuff. But that's a great resource. And then anytime you're in Guitar Center, you'd be amazed some of the excellent or mint condition used things you can pick up there for significant savings as well. So you don't have to break the bank, but you do need a few things to get started. So I hope that's helpful. Listen, let me know in the comments if there's more tutorials or videos you'd want to see about Luna. If you want me to do some about how to get started with Ableton or Logic or Pro Tools, those are really the four that I've used the most, and I would love to do that and help you get started. Or I can go more specifically into certain aspects of it. So just let me know and we'll keep going. Hope you have a great time. Hope you get to make music in 2025. Go grab the stuff. Don't wait. Just start messing around with it. Start getting creative and have some fun. I'll see you in the next video.